What's going on, guys? How are y'all doing today? Today's video, I want to talk about some Rebels. And this is a team that can counter some pretty, now with this new Threepio and Chewie, you can now counter a lot more teams, I'd say, personally. And also how it does on defense. We're going to see some of that more in the part of offense. However, I will probably try to collect some of these battles on defense, see how they actually work on defense, because these are some very, very strong defensive teams for GAC and TW as well. But this is going to be a team. Let's go down to Rebels really fast. And this is going to be a team with, of course, the CLS Trio, which is going to be Commander Luke, Chewbacca, the OG Chewbacca, and Han Solo. So those three right there are some of the best trios in the game, and they have so much damage output in turns and a lot of TMR. It's one of my favorites, if not it is my favorite, honestly, because there's a lot of uses for them in the game. They have amazing ships, and they're just a lot of fun to play with. A lot of damage. It's a lot of fun. Trust me. So those are the first three, and then of course we're gonna toss in here some 3PO action because of his unique, where he can grant the Rebels exposes. I forget which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it would be this one. Yeah, it is this one. I got it right on the first try. Cyborg relations. So it says here, all allies have 10% potency. Whenever a Rebel or Ewok does a basic, they inflict exposes on the target enemy for 2 turns, which cannot be evaded. And it says, for each stack of translation, Rebels have more potency and double for Ewok. So that right there is a pretty huge thing. I'm going to show you one battle here today, which is versus a Padme team. And in the past, Padme teams and how CLS works versus Padme's in a counter, it's really not been the best. But now with Chewpio here, it makes this a lot more manageable, and you can get some nice, easy banners. And I think it's really cool to mention and note. You've probably already seen this team to counter a Kylo, the new Supreme Kylo Ren, and that can work, but we've seen some limitations to that depending on how the Hux is modded. If it's for CA or maybe has a lot of health, probably not going to work as well, because if you cannot kill Hux on the first opening moves, then you will just lose. So probably not the most efficient there versus Kylo's, but I would say nearly everything else, maybe not Rey's, but nearly everything else, this can outbeat it. And the reason I want to bring this up now is because, I mean, for first and foremost, this is just a lot of fun team to play with. But secondly, I've been seeing a lot more Padmes on defense in TWs and GACs. Maybe you guys haven't, but I sure have. And to kind of counter them, I think you can now use these guys pretty dang well to do that. So the other one is, of course, so we went over those 4. The last one is, of course, Threepio and Chewie. The reason here is because of his unique. He just comes in and inflicts, or not really inflicts, he just attacks all the time, just like his other old self. No, actually, is that his older self? Chewie, OG Chewbacca, and then you got Threepio. I think it is his other version of himself, whatever. They both can now attack whenever somebody uses ability. For this guy, it's for any Rebel ally, but for the other Chewbacca, it's for the guarded ones. So there's going to be a lot of assists here, and with the assist, they're going to be doing basics. And with basics, what does that mean? Well, it means that 3PO's cyborg relations with the exposes gets resisted all the time from Padme teams in particular, or if you're not going to be using this versus Padme teams, it will be doing so many expose hits. It's going to be ridiculous, and that's like the big thing there if you want to kind of try to kill one of those Kylos and kill a Hux, which is very, very cool. Another thing here is that, I mean, on this unique in general, you're going to get a lot more bonuses, right? So with how to mod this team, let's go over it really quickly. How to mod this team in general, though, is for this guy, for Chewpio, is to mod him for some CC and some CD. You could maybe go for some potency, but all around the table, I'd say just go for some crit chance. I think that's very, very good all around the table. The reason I would probably mention the potency is because on this one, he can inflict some blinds, which is definitely really good. But I think for the most part, with how you want to mod him for like the vast majority of him before he's like with relics, you probably want some CC and some CD, in my opinion at least. And you never really ever are going to use this special called Chewie's Rage. This one can do some good damage, but it's not up until like with relics, and you can actually notice the huge damage he can do. I mean, he can do some big boy damage with this special, but most of the times he's going to be using his basic, and with his basic he can inflict another debuff, which is pretty dang huge for this counter versus Padme, so you get more resists. But yeah, this guy's pretty dang awesome. So for him, just kind of mod him for crit damage, some CC. Maybe with relics, you want to mod him a bit differently, maybe some potency in there. You'll want to maximize his damage, though. He can do some big boy damage. So that's him. The other three trio, I would say mod him the same, but for CLS, on this counter in particular, I would mod him for a lot more offense, because you got to keep in mind that Chewpio can get more offense based on the leader, and that's a very huge thing. Let's go back to it really quickly. So on this one, I must tell the others, it says if the allied leader is a rebel, Chewpio gains 40% of the leader's max health, max protection, offense, defense, potency, and tenacity, and then the other allies gain half that amount. So with 40% of Luke's max offense, that will be doing some crazy damage for a Gear 11 Chewpio, but also giving some of that half amount to the other rebels. So modding your CLS for just pure on offense sets and some more offense primaries is going to be a very huge thing, and a big investment here. So you can just see here very quickly, I have offense on the cross. I have offense on the triangle. I got some more offense here. As you can see, a 3.03% offense percent on the circle. I got some more, not really any more, actually. I thought I did. No, just some speed there. And then, of course, an offense square, and then an offense arrow. So lots of offense here. What is he for Relic 5 for the offense stats? Well, let's go down here and check it out. So he is now at nearly 9,000 extra offense, which is very good in my opinion. Like I said, I could probably up that even higher if I want to use my slower mods to get him up that higher with more of the offense percent, but I would rather have those on my other characters like a Kylo. So he is still pretty good. So 9k offense, you want to have him really high on the offense so that he gives that more offense to the team, a lot more pure DPS. It's very good. So that's him. Chewie, I just have had him modded the same way for the longest of times. Ever since Gas came out, I modded for tenacity, and ever since then I just kind of left him there. But if you want to, for this counter in particular, you can probably go for some CD, some CC maybe, and some offense sets if you would like to. Other than that, I would probably stick with tenacity, because in the other counters you kind of want him to be somewhat tenacious with his tenacity, and making sure that he doesn't get landed as many debuffs on himself. So that's definitely one you want to look out for. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely mod him differently in this one, but for this one, how I've been using him, just kind of the same way for the gas counters. Nothing too crazy there. For Han Solo, I've had him modded the same way for the longest of times, just as well as my Chewbacca, just straight up crit damage and some health. So very straightforward there. And then last but not least is Threepio, speed and potency. Potency on the cross, and no potency on the cross, just potency sets, I guess. Probably want to have some potency set on that cross though, but not today. But guys, enough talking, let's go into this battle here. Just wanted to, in this video, just kind of wanted to just chat about this team. I want to do maybe another video just having a lot more footage to show with you guys, for you guys rather. But yeah, this is the one today. This is the team. This is from Sean. He is an old guildmate of mine. He is a dope guy, and he was like, yo, you gotta check this team out, man. It's pretty legit. So yeah, let's check it out. So it's kind of a long battle, honestly. How long is this one? It's a 3-minute battle. So yeah, you're gonna be hitting on the GK for a majority of this battle, but just kind of look at the resists. The resists are very noticeable here. Even with tenacity down, you cannot land debuffs because of just how Padme works. Whenever they have protection up, they cannot get landed any debuffs whatsoever. It will just never happen for you. So you're going to be getting so much TM to your team, especially with Chewpio here. He's going to be doing that assist like we talked about earlier, inflicting an expose and his evasion down on his basic, but they won't get landed because of the resist from GK's protection up. So pretty much what's happening here is you do all these blinds, and then you wait for the other Chewbacca to get an AoE, and he can do some splash damage, which is very nice. And that's kind of how you're lowering them for the majority of the battle. But in this one, I think he could have probably played it a little bit better if he had timed it so GK lost protection up, and then he inflicted the buff immunities onto GK. So that way you can just kind of bypass his taunt altogether and then work down the others. But a nice thing here, which I sometimes forget with that one special that you can inflict blind on for the Chewpio, is that he can actually dispel all buffs from the enemies. And I totally forgot about that for some reason. I thought that just wasn't even a thing, but it actually is. So that's very cool. So right there, Padme went below. Half health triggered Anakin's bonus turn. With blind, he can still do the hits because just kind of how he is. He's just you can't evade those AoEs, but you can evade the basics, which is very, very nice. And with the blind sticking, it's not going to really do anything to you if he does get another bonus turn, because with his bonus turn and his huge AoE, he has to now go back to that bonus turn again. So after the first time, you're pretty much good to go, without having to worry about his bonus turns ever happening again for the AoEs. So you're pretty much good. So right there, they're very low. There's 4 people in the yellows, and then GK is just kind of chilling in the green. You know, he's full health, all that sort of stuff. So right here, I probably would have gone for a big hit on Anakin, maybe get him out of there, but not going to happen. Probably want to keep on the TM train because, I mean, as you can see throughout this whole video, the TM on this whole CLS team is going through the roof. There are so many resists happening. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I love it, though. I mean, this is a fun team to use now. This really opens up the field with CLS teams, and I think it's pretty huge. I would really not use Chewpio under a Mon Mothma team right now. I think there's a lot better uses out of the Mon Mothma. With like other teammates and like who you want to use, stuff like that. Chewpio can be good there, but I would really shoot for something else for that team. But as you can see here, after Padme is dead, no more of those extra protection up stacks, and you can really just melt down the GK. So we didn't get full banners here, but I think he could have played a little bit better. But nonetheless, this is a very, very good, very, very cool and good counter for anybody who wants to use this team in GAC, TWs, anything like that. I think it's a very, very huge team to use. And also, like I said, it can get some pretty decent holds on defense as well, because now with Chewpio there, if you have a Gear 11 Chewpio, and in that video you did see him have a Gear 11 Chewpio, he got Guard, right? So now with Guard, you have to worry about killing a Chewpio, but that can be hard at times because of Guard. You can't crit him, and you can't really land any stuns or dazes on them. That's kind of hard to do. So, with that in mind, I mean, it's going to be hard to go around him. If you can think about a Gear 13 Chewpio with Guard and having to kill him first, because if you don't, he's going to rack up those damages and all those extra attacks, that's kind of crazy. And with that team with Threepio, he's going to be getting so many exposes going on the field. That's going to be hard to control and to manage. So I think that's a very, very good counter to the Padme and a lot of different teams in the game, like we just talked about the Kylo, but also in defense side of things, it's a very, very strong defensive team for sure. So that's pretty much it. Maybe the last thing I want to say is if he does get Guard, which he will probably most of the times, and I would say you really want him to get Guard. This item right here is one I would kind of consider because it's like a mini Guard. So whenever he does not have call to action, he will now have 50% critical avoidance and more tenacity, which is 100% tenacity. So a mini Guard in the sense of he can't really get crit, he can get landed some of those debuffs, but he has a lot of tenacity there. Probably won't going to happen for the stuns or the dazes, anything like that. So this would be kind of worth it if you were thinking about using Chewpio a lot with a CLS team. I think it's definitely a very, very good Zeta right now. So that's probably it now for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know down below in the comments if you guys think of any other better teams here for the CLS. You guys let me know. What teams have you been using with your Chewpio to counter some different teams maybe you guys haven't countered before? Let me know all that down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, share it around, and sub to the channel if you guys are new here. We got a Discord, we got a Patreon, and we got channel memberships all down below in the description if you guys would like to check those things out. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out and have a good one.